Today in Black Ops 4 we got a little bit of an update, but it was only a playlist update. It wasn't anything you had to actually download or anything that would take away from your gaming experience. It would just simply restart your game as a normal playlist update would. And chances are, if you weren't on right at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern, or 6 p.m. GMT, you probably wouldn't have even noticed because it will boot up and change automatically once you end up jumping into Black Ops 4 after that time for the first time. So unless you were grinding out the game at that point, you probably wouldn't have even noticed that this update went live. But it did add a few different things into the game, some actually a little more noticeable than others. So today we're gonna break down what happened in today's surprise update because we did know of one part happening, but not the others. So that said, let's just jump right into it. The biggest thing that you'll probably notice when you jump into Black Ops 4 right now is that across all 4 tiles of that main menu, you'll see the double XP, or in Blackout's case, the double merits icons throughout all of that. So starting today and lasting until Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, April 1st, players will have access to double XP in multiplayer, zombies, league play, and double merits in Blackout. So if you're looking on ranking up at all, well, now's the better time than ever. Unfortunately, this does not include double tier progression. I absolutely loved that the last time that was available. It was like 2 weeks ago or something at this point. Grinded through a ton of different cases, saving those up and through the tiers, but hopefully that comes back at least one more time to end out Operation Grand Heist. We have 4 weeks left, so maybe in 2 weeks time we see another one with that maybe. But regardless, you'll end up having the perfect opportunity to rank up now through MP, Blackout, or zombies, or again, league play, depending on what you want to play around with. Whole weekend to do that, so make sure you jump into it. But next up, actually some changes that you may or may not have noticed and may actually affect some of your gameplay. First thing, let's start out with a couple of the weapon tunings in MP. We had a big tuning pass on Tuesday, or semi-big, in terms of weapon balancing as of Tuesday's update, but we got a couple more additions here as of Thursday's. The first one being the Rampart, which was surprisingly left out of Tuesday's update, despite being talked about on the MP side by Matt Schrontz and Tony Flame during the Monday recap of the update on Tuesday. But while we didn't see anything change on Tuesday, we did see a little bit here today, with the adjustments to the Rampart being an adjusted damage per shot from 46 to 40, the high caliber 1 and 2 shots now dealing 70 damage when hitting parts of the body affected by high caliber, so head and then chest as well with high cal 2, and then slightly reducing the ADS in speed. So a little bit of a nerf here to this one, but again, it was adjusted where it was not before. But to break this down a little bit further, because some of these might have some different implications depending on where you're playing the map. When you play an MP, this damage reduction from 46 to 40 is just so it adds added benefit to high cal 1 and 2. It of course increased the damage, but it didn't as much beforehand. So while this was nerfed in a sense from the DPS perspective, that actually doesn't change the amount of damage that it takes on a regular standpoint to end up getting the kill. You'd still be required at most damage and at closest range to put 4 shots into the enemy. And so therefore, the only thing that really changes on that front is how quickly you can approach that kill with high cal 1 and 2. As for the ADS speed, well, that's something that of course is just slows that down. So there's not really all that much to break down for that one. The other weapon that was changed here was the SOG 9mm, which compounds on Tuesday's update actually, and adds a little bit more to how much it was changed. Tuesday's update addressed this in the sense that it increased the sprint recovery speed, meaning that mobility was slightly buffed in that regard. But as for today, this also compounds and adds a slightly increased 6-shot range onto the weapon. So therefore, it got an even better buff in terms of its range. It seemed like the SOG 9mm was, from at least a competitive perspective, the most meta weapon out there, but it seems like now Treyarch are trying to push this on a more meta scale for the public matches as well. Certainly curious, but hey, I still got gold camo to do on that, so I'll take it. The only other weapon that was changed was the Daemon 3 XP, which actually didn't have any weapon adjustment in terms of damage or how the statistical properties work out for anything. Instead, this is more of a design fix for this. I think I saw a couple of posts over on Reddit that brought this to light, but previously the iron sights were not properly centered on the Daemon 3 XP. So while a lot of players may end up utilizing a sight or an optic on that, a lot of players choose to just have the iron sights, to which it was a little off center. That's now been fixed with this update, so that should hopefully look better when examined a little further and more meticulously now at this point. Outside of that weapon tuning, no other weapons were adjusted here with this update or that were so mentioned, but we ended up getting a couple of fixes in other regards as well. One thing being the score streak of the dart. This now addressed an issue where the dart could self-destruct when maneuvering quickly around the map, which obviously certainly don't want to have happen because you earn that score streak. But that's been fixed out, shouldn't happen anymore. One thing that I'm super excited for, and that honestly I'm probably one of the only people that actually care about this, but reactive camos had another slight adjustment here to it, compounding on the fact that you don't don't need gold anymore to utilize these on any weapon, but in private matches it was a little bit different. Previously, anything that was unwrapped, you'd have to re-unwrap in private matches by completing that challenge. Then you could utilize it on any of those weapons using the same criteria. But now, given the fact that, again, you don't need to have gold, you can use them on any weapon, but camos that are now unwrapped in MP no longer have to be unwrapped in private match again. So that's something that, for me personally, I'm super excited for this because I'll sometimes like to show off some B-roll footage of the inspect animations of the weapons like you saw with what we just showcased at the Rampart, Sog, and Daemon. But there also are times where as a content creator, I'd like to get a nice looking thumbnail, and some of the camos just don't do it for me. So I'd like to put some on, but sometimes I can't. Now that shouldn't be an issue. Again, probably one of the more minor things that nobody's going to care about, but thanks, Treyarch. Barebones had a fix to it where the after-action report now properly appears after hardcore Barebones matches. That was an issue that it just wasn't displaying all or accurate information. Friendly Fire now has a readjustment where 20 seconds of a respawn penalty will now occur after a 5th team kill in hardcore matches or in league play matches, so be careful who you're shooting, or if you're a griefer, well, enjoy those 20 seconds. And then there was a bunch of stability fixes for potential crashes on the back end as well. For Blackout, there was a quick equip menu UI fix where their scrolling behavior now worked with various alternative button layouts. I know that I saw one whenever it was first introduced where there was a bug where players would then throw grenades instead of them trying to cycle through things. I don't know if those specifically were the things that happened, but it's been fixed out regardless. There was added game type information added to the map loading screens on the UI front. There were a bunch of stability fixes added to custom games so that matches would not crash as frequently as they did. That was a pop-up problem that was happening on a decent basis. I don't want to say regular, but enough that, of course, that it caught the attention of Treyarch. And then one thing that I want to discuss here to round out the Blackout stuff is the low population playlists. For probably about 75% of us watching this video, it's probably not going to affect you, but there are various regions around the world where, unfortunately, there's too low a population to populate every single playlist, that being solos, duos, quads, hardcore, Blackout, and then the featured playlist of Hot Pursuit as well. So in those areas, there's not as many playlists to choose from. It's sort of a curated playlist to kind of push all players into one lobby where it's easier to find a match. And so for that, this now then ended up adjusting the featured playlist to be set to hardcore, and also the rotating playlist to be set to solos. So there's no duos or quads options outside of that hardcore mode, which is unfortunate that this sort of stuff happens, but again, it comes down to the player population numbers in those regions. There's not really all that much that can happen unless there is something that the players are willing to sacrifice connectivity experience from, and that would then reroute them to connect to different servers, but I don't even know if that's something that would be considered from Treyarch. I know that that's something that would fix the issue, and of course, please the parties involved in those low population playlists, but it's a really rock and a hard place situation. So that's something that was added in with this update as well today. And then in terms of zombies, we had some stuff specific for perks and the sound effects on a global end, but on PlayStation 4, there was a bunch of stability fixes overall, and also some things that were stability fixes for Ancient Evil, the new DLC map, which will be coming on Tuesday for Xbox One and PC as well, such as the Wonder Weapon Hand of Gaia's Charge Shot will now always kill the zombies in one shot. There's a bunch of miscellaneous and a bunch of stability fixes that I can leave the link down there in the description below for you guys if you want to read them all out fully, but just to spare you guys some of the time here with that and not to sound monotonous with all of it. But that said, that's all the changes here that ended up happening with today's little playlist update. Again, a little mini hotfix, not anything you had to jump in and download actually to maybe give us update 1.17. That could be happening at any point over the next couple of weeks, but regardless, those are the changes here at this. One quick little mention before I leave you guys here at this. Again, try and take advantage of double XP. Some quick little pointers for you guys to reiterate what we've talked about here on the channel a couple of times is that objective modes, challenges, and medals are probably the biggest things for MP that you can take advantage of. Those will all compound very nicely at the end of each match. And of course, if you end up getting things like Dark Matter, that is a very hefty bonus in terms of challenge XP. So if you can hit those milestone challenges all in stride within this weekend, well, perfect time to do that. Blackout, try and play for survival, but also try and play a little aggressively. Find that mix between what you're comfortable with and what is also the most efficient. And zombies, just get out there and start slaying. So of course, while there is no right or wrong way to maximize your XP, there definitely are some more things to make it a little bit more efficient. So we put up a video detailing everything in full a couple of weeks ago. If you guys want to check that out, you can probably find it here on the channel, or if I remember, I'll try and put up an annotation on screen right now for you guys to check that out. But that's where we're going to wrap it up. So hopefully you enjoy the update. Let me know your thoughts on the weapon weapon tuning, anything in regards to zombies fixes, the reactive camos and private matches, whatever it is, feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But do get out there, get playing this weekend, and try and rank up a little bit further. And again, your mode of choice of MP, Blackout, Zombies, or even League play. But hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to drop a like down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Black Ops 4, MP, Blackout, Zombies. We got you covered for the best of updates, news, information, tips, tricks, all that good stuff. So if any of that interests you, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing. If you guys also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, there's the best place to get connected outside of YouTube. Practically live on both those. So if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, that link is down there in the description below. Well, let's end that way. Thank you guys all so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.